Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Is it safe to leave my Windows laptop plugged in all the time or charged up to 100% all the time? Well, that's kind of a debatable subject, isn't it? On the Macs, technically, no, not a problem. And it's not like we can actually program our Mac to go only to 80%. You got to sit there and go la 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 la. When's it going to get there? Come on, get to 80% so I can freaking unplug you. Anyway, Apple doesn't allow that sort of thing. It just goes to 100% and that's it, right? So, with PCs though, a lot of your manufacturers will give you control over your battery. And in that being the case, that means that in the case of that particular product, guess what? Probably not safe to leave it at 100% because it's definitely going to shorten your lifespan. So, when it comes to battery cycles, that's usually where we have battery health related. But in the case of Windows computers, some of them, like mine, it's not just about battery cycles, it's more about charging it to 100%. Okay, so Asus gives us an option here, full capacity mode, which is 100%. This gives you the longest day-to-day battery life. Perfect if you need your laptop to last as long as possible away from outlets. That's the Asus default, okay? Which is fine. You have 100% of your power, you do your thing, and we'll see how long it actually lasts. Balanced mode is what's recommended. The battery charges to 80%, then stops. It will not go past that, which improves the long-term health of the battery, only reduces daily battery life by 1 to 2 hours. Okay, fine. That's acceptable. Maximum lifespan mode limits the battery to 60%, which is where I've set it, which stretches the lifespan further into the future, ideal if you always use it plugged into the charger, which is what I do because that's also going to be the best performance as well, because then I get access to my whole 4.6 gigahertz of horsepower on the top side. Okay, so that's where I decided to set it. I did try this before at 80%, and I think even 80% would be fine, right? But notice they don't tell you what happens if you unplug it when you're at 60%, how long the battery's going to last. Okay, now down in my battery area here, status is 75% remaining, 3 hours and 6 minutes is what's left. Because, yeah, I've been kind of running the laptop, shooting a couple videos, anyways, it's just doing nothing, and it's just going gulp, 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 gulp. Okay, now, in my Armoury Crate program, this is where, of course, I get a lot more information on the computer, what's going on with CPU and RAM heat and all that other jazz. Memory status, storage status, fans aren't even running because right now I got a cooling plate underneath, and of course it's blowing 5 fans worth of cool air up, but at the same time being unplugged I'm in silent mode, which really sucks back my horsepower. You can still play games, but they're gonna really suck compared to being plugged in, okay? I mean, I've experienced this firsthand, and yeah, no, I'll leave it plugged in, thanks. But I can even go and let Windows control everything. Now, normally my computer is set up, when I plug the power in, it goes automatically into performance mode, which still isn't topping or maxing out my processor, right? But when I go to turbo, it sure does, and woohoo, hold on to your seats, kids, because gaming just became a whole new cool world. Anyways, and it still isn't even on performance mode, but I don't want to push my thing into turbo full time, but when it comes to manufacturers, you're going to have to check with your software. So HP puts their own programs in. It's very handy because it also gives you access to specific updates for your computer that even Microsoft doesn't cover. Which I did do a lot of bouncing back and forth between Microsoft updates, and now Asus has some. Wonderful. Let's put those in. More from Microsoft, more from Asus. Stay tuned, children, because the next round may be even more. Anyways, you know how Windows updates like crazy, right? Every 3 days we get updates for something. But either way, you've got a lot within your programs that come with your computer. So don't discount these programs that come with it from the manufacturer. Like in this case, we have The other one's called HP something assistant. Anyways, I don't have that HP computer anymore. I sold it. This is just the Asus one, my Asus, right? And then of course you've got your Armory crate in this case. You're going to find these programs very common on the Asus laptops, especially the gamer ones. I don't know about non-gamer because I don't have one, so I don't know what they use for programs for that. Then of course you have your Asus One stuff. You've got, Link to My Asus, your home area, all that sort of jazz. You can check on your battery condition, all that. There's also a testing program in here where you can do a diagnostics, either one click, or you can do specific one of items like test your RAM, test each drive independently, that sort of thing. It's very handy software, right? It really does help you troubleshoot and figure things out, but also gives you an idea of what's really going down on your computer for all that sort of thing. Now, when I'm looking at drive statistics, I look at something like Crystal Disk Info. This program here actually tells you a lot of information about whatever drive you happen to select. In this case, the only drive currently installed is the original factory one because I haven't upgraded my parts back in yet. We're still doing testing, right? Anyway, so I'm at 98% health status on the SSD. Tells me about how many writes I have, how many reads I have. It's the writes, by the way, that kill the drives out, not the reads. Tells me it's a standard NVMe Express 1.4. Now, this is this slot that it comes in from the factory is actually an Express 4 slot. There's also an Express 3 slot in this as well for an NVMe drive, so you can actually put 2 internal drives in this thing, which is really flipping cool. And for those of you who also want to know about this particular laptop, you can crank her to 64 gigs of RAM, even though Asus says on their write-up 32 gigs max. It actually goes to 64. So, anyways, and I've done it at 32 and 64, and it's perfectly stable. So there you go. But yeah, if you have other drives, they'll be listed across the bar, and you can test drives out. You can test even externals out as well. It's great. But yeah, so just something to be aware of battery stuff. I can't give you a thing where I can say, yeah, it's fine, leave it at 100%, it stops charging anyways, okay? Because there are manufacturers that are actually setting up these computers specifically that, yeah, you do this, or yeah, your battery's going to go toasty on you. And that kind of really sucks. Now, I've had this computer for over a year already, and I do leave it plugged in all the time, and I've never noticed any what do they call it, degradation or whatever, lack of health, okay, to be a better word. I have not seen any health change in the battery whatsoever. So even though Asus does say this, and this, and I'm going to set it at 60%. I need to experiment for you guys anyways and update you as we go. But at leaving a charge at 100% for over a year, because it doesn't come off the charger, like it's only been off like a couple of times just for testing on battery, and it really sucks, at least for gaming anyway. So I just leave it on charge all the time. I just prefer it that way. Normally I share it out to 4K screen, but I'm now doing more experimenting and seeing if I can actually deal with 17-inch worth of real estate. And so far, so good, actually. So this actually frees me up some ports on my 4K display to share other computers with it. But in the meantime, I can't give you a definitive answer. It's going to depend on your laptop. If there's software in there that can control your charge cycles, then yeah, I would say utilize it to whichever way suits you the best. If it doesn't have any of that kind of software from the factory, then I would probably say, probably don't worry about it. I wouldn't be overly concerned with it. The way I'm looking at it too is this is not the strongest battery in this for this laptop. There is one battery that's like twice the power of this, and it's like under $100. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll pick that battery up down the road, and because I'd like to do some testing on something that's twice as much, just to see what kind of runtime we're going to expect to get, especially in gaming wise. How fast is it going to suck that battery down? because the factory battery in this is not good for portable gaming. You'd be lucky to get an hour and a half out of that battery. It's just going to go, raw, even though it's still, we've taken a massive dump on performance, right? Which will affect some games, definitely. It still chews the snot out of that battery. So I think for a gaming laptop, they did not think ahead far enough to put the proper size battery in, but they do support 2 batteries, so don't worry. You can purchase the more powerful battery and install that in like 5 minutes. Anyway, that's what I got for you on this one. And so thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.